Hey guys, welcome back and thank you for joining us on Winter Wolf's Den, where King Z and I are about to cover the Acolyte's penultimate episode number 7. King Z, get your ass on the screen. There he is. There he is. There's the face for radio and the voice fit for print. There he is, King Z himself. Dude, just us. It's boys' night tonight. The armorist has to take the night off. She's feeling a little under the weather, so we're gonna have to just do this two-man tag team style. No triple threat here. So
All
we're
right.
gonna have to make do with what we got. You ready to go? I got a couple things to say about this episode. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this episode of.
He sounds so enthused. Look at him, everybody. Look, he's all like, "Yay! It's Acolyte Day!" Yeah. No, he's not. He's not. I've known King Z a long time. This is about as exciting. That's his exciting face right there. That's it. That's about as exciting.
This
as
is my happy face.
Now show me your war face. Arr! Yeah, no. Let's see. We need a war face for this effing show, dude. I've made this joke a couple of times with some of the garbage we've watched in the last couple of years where we ask each other what our favorite part of the show was. And the bad joke is, that it ended at some point. I can't even say that with this episode because this piece of shit ended. And then we got that stupid outro music that's like straight from like a 90s female R&B radio station.
It's actually
like
a brand new song that was like sung by, I think it was sung by one of the actresses.
Dude, don't care. I don't care. It's stupid. It's icing on the cake of how this is not real Star Wars. It's just not. The comparison would be like if we adapted like, I don't know, Jane Eyre or something into a movie and then just basically ham-fisted a bunch of machine gun fights and a death metal rock outro over Jane Eyre. Like it would be that out of place, and even fans of either of those things would be like, what the hell is this? Like that was the response. I go back and watch Twitter. There were two major responses through the airing of this show that just blew everybody away. One is the stupid metal detector thing, which is hilarious. We'll talk about that. And look at him. He knows. Right. And then the other was the outro song where people were like, listen, it's the Simpsons meme. Like we're like, the thing's dead and the kid's crying like, stop. Like Star Wars is dead. Like just leave it alone. It didn't need this piece of crap modern pop song played over the ending credits. Like I didn't even like the ending I can't even make that joke because it's as infuriating as anything else. But dude, what do you got to say for yourself on this episode just to kick us off, man? I can't.
So this episode. So let's talk about what this episode was supposed to be and what this episode was and what this episode tried to be. All right. So this episode is episode 7, the one before the last episode. So it's supposed to kick off the whole climax of what everybody wants. And it comes to, a big crescendo at the end where everyone, does what they need to do to get what they want. But instead, we did the reverse POV of 16 years ago, where we now follow the Jedis. And now what this type of episode, which it is a very handy episode to do. I mean, they did a whole movie on it called Point of View, where they took a terrorist bombing and they did it from all the different point of views. You had like one of the victims, you had like the president, you had the president's bodyguard, you had the terrorist. So you had all their different point of views and it kept rewinding. I think it had, what's his name?
Dennis Quaid, I think, right?
Dennis Quaid and Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Forrest. Yep.
So really good movie. So what they're trying to do is show you from the eyes of the Jedi of what happened that faithful night 16 years ago on a planet that no one cares about. But what that episode's supposed to do is to provide new information of what happened. You're supposed to see something new. We're supposed to have a big reveal. What we got was the same thing, just from a different camera angle.
Yep. Literally. They literally did that and then combined it with like 50% reused footage of the old stuff from episode 3.
And we got no new information. There was no big reveal. They let us know what we already knew.
One thing. Oh, in the flashback, you mean? Like in the initial part. One big reveal at the end, obviously, like how they all died. Like that's new information. Like that's
no. They died of boredom.
Well, I died of boredom watching this episode. I
So
think
did they. I
Darth
mean, it was like,
Trinity,
oh no, we're
Darth
done.
Trinity
Let's just
killed
die.
him in the Matrix. I think it was more that Darth Trinity killed him in the Matrix and they died in real
But
life.
how?
We'll talk, dude. Wait. Dude, that's
Yep.
the end. Dude, hold on. We got a lot. My brother in Christ. We got a lot of ground to cover to get to that little bit of stupidity. Hold on. Hold the phone. Right?
So the only thing new we got was why the Jedi were actually there, and Soul in the little where he made the catch, why he was right there. Everything else we already knew.
Here's a couple of things that I learned in this episode. Number one, I didn't think I could be more bored. I was wrong. Number two, Soul's character went from the only likable one on the show to a creepy pedo Chris Hansen to catch a predator needs to give this dude a call and have him sit down in front of the camera. Bunch of setup for that whole bit. I'll talk about that in a bit. I learned that Wookiee combat with lightsabers isn't as cool as I thought it was, but I also learned that them telling us they couldn't afford to shoot that for the other episode was a lie because they did nothing. It was exactly what I thought it would be. It's dude in a Wookiee suit swinging a wooden broom handle around that they put the effect for the lightsaber blade over. There was nothing inspiring about that combat. There was nothing unique. It was kind of dumb. What else did I learn? I learned not Mother Anastasia, lesbian space witch, is a psycho. We confirmed that Coral, I think is her name, because Anastasia, I think, is the chick that played James Bond, or that was in the Bond movie. I think that was that one. So Coral, I think, is the white one with spikes, the head spikes, her partner, right? She's a psycho. May is a bona fide psycho. Fire still burns stone, and the witches did not build the base. Also, the Jedi are still. I learned lots of stuff. I learned loads. Actually, I guess I confirmed a lot of stuff. I didn't really learn anything. Really confirmed a lot of shit. But dude, you're right. I got 2 pages of notes here, right? But literally, and it's kind of like a scene breakdown. Like I numbered the scenes so I could take like the bits from each one I wanted. But basically, like the first 8 of them, it's exactly like you said. They wasted, and this is I think their longest episode too. 44 minutes total run, right?
I didn't even notice that.
Repeat. I think it was the longest. It was 44 for sure. I don't know. I don't remember if it was the longest, but I think it was. But it was 44 for what it's worth, right? But they spend like 12 of it up front rehashing crap, like you said, from that reverse POV of the Jedi leading into them discovering the Witch's Coven, right? They answer vaguely why they're on Brendok in the planet Brendok in the first place. They're on a mission. The planet was allegedly devoid of life 100 years ago due to a hyperspace disaster. Don't know what that is. That sounds kind of interesting. I would have liked to have explained. We've said this. You, me, and the Armors have all said this. There were interesting ideas in every episode somewhere, but they abandoned them at every possible opportunity to do stupid shit that nobody cares about. Nobody, right? World devoid of life, hyperspace disaster. I want to know about that. A virgins in the Force that spreads life Dagobah style and reconstitutes a biome and an ecosystem. And the Jedi want to know about that to like pursue its power or how it can help them understand the Force. That sounds like some Jedi shit. Like I'm interested in that. Nope, abandoned. What we got was Jedi Wookiee Master Kalnaka with a Hobby Lobby $40 metal detector that they didn't even bother to dress up to make it look like anything unique, right? Metal detecting some shit. We get Grandmaster Squid Game over here, just picking up random bits of grass and putting them in a lunchbox.
Looking surprised, like
Empire
as
scenes.
So this is my point on that whole thing. Like you have at least one Jedi Master that we know of, because we don't know their current ranks. This was 16 years before they technically started.
I think it's Darth Trinity is the Master, Kalnaka and Saul are Knights at that point, and Dippy Doo is the Padawan. I think that's the formation, the hierarchy.
Tomlin first of
you're
his
right.
name.
It's never. Yeah. I was waiting for that joke last week. You didn't make it not one time. I was kind of pissed. But yes, correct. That I think is the hierarchy, but they didn't confirm it exactly.
Yeah. So why are you going to send Jedi that could do a job that could have been done by a probe droid?
Dude,
it's like sending
Navy, Trek, like the red shirt science team, or the blue shirt science team.
Yeah, it's like sending Navy SEALs to. Yeah, it's about to send Navy SEALs to clean up a dirty beach.
Yep, I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I've heard all of these criticisms over in the last like 12 hours. I watch live streams on this shit on like Echo Base Network and a bunch of other channels that we typically like and we follow. and just listen to these people eviscerate this episode. I'm like, holy hell, I'm right there with all of them. Like all these same, like all these rips, like the sending the Navy SEALs things. Like I've heard something similar. The Darth Trinity disconnecting them in the Matrix. Like I've heard that in a bunch of places. And it's not like we're ripping each other's jokes off. Like they just occur to everybody because the one thing this show is fucking meme worthy. Like it's just literally pulling out the low hanging fruit for memes and jokes because it's so bad. The setup of there was a channel, it was Echo Base. They redid a skit on, they cut it in real time too. When Kelnaka has the metal detector out, they spliced in Darth Helmet from Spaceballs when they're like, hey, we're combing the desert. We're combing the desert. If you found anything, no, we found nothing. And then they get to the black unit and he's like, we ain't found shit. They dubbed that over Kelnaka with the metal detector. It was hysterical. Go check out Echo Base Network, guys. It's a great channel. It would do it. And so like all the memes and all the jokes, they're all occurring to us at the same time because they're so on the nose, obvious, hilarious. And what's that scene tell us? Like, what does all this setup in the episode give us as the viewer? It reveals nothing interesting from their perspective. So what do I care?
The Jedi were not there hunting the witches.
Right. But again, even if that's true, that only walks us down the road of knowing that these are the dumbest effing Jedi in the galaxy. Honest to God, we've already established in Star Wars, right, that a lot of the technology exists the same way it exists in Star Trek, right? So when the Jedi drop when they drop into orbit, they scan planets for life signs and power and things like that. They didn't notice a giant ass structure on top of a mountaintop that has running power in it because we see it rupture in the end. They
probably the tallest structure that you can see. It's like, oh, it's not like it's a surprise. Dude, it's like it's in a depression somewhere. It's on a tall mountain that you can see in the horizon.
And it's got a massive power source, right? And then on top of that, they want me to believe, and on top of all the stuff with like just the structure and power and things like that, they want me to believe that they randomly landed on this planet within 100 walking yards of the two kids that were going to play by the Bunta tree. And then creepy Jedi Knight Saul spies on these kids and follows them back to base. Like, if it's not stupid, there's a contrivance. And then after a contrivance, there's plot armor, and then it recycles back to stupid at every possible opportunity with this episode. And that's like, and guys, that's the setup for like, this is a flashback episode. Nothing new happens in real time. We don't see anything from the resolution of 6 where Smilo Ren is on Sexy Beach with OSHA, whatever one it is, I don't care. And then May's on the ship. Saul finally figures it out based on the gerbil guy that it's May, and he blasts her and ties her down. And he says, you're going to listen to what I have to say. It's weird. So we've wasted 45 minutes in the penultimate episode to bring you what should have been a 3-minute scene, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end of last episode, really. Just cram that in and then cut the credits and then give me a real second to last episode. It's just stupid. So we're with Saul. He finds the girls. He spies on them. Goes back to their base. Somehow climbs the wall like it's Game of Thrones, but with like no climbing gear. Just scales the mountainside and then drops into the undefended top part of their base for the first of 2 times. Spies on them. And after a 5-second glimpse of a training regiment with the Coven and Mother Anastasia showing them how to use the thread defensively, that's enough evidence to go back and go all Child Protective Services and get the Jedi involved in the come steal your kids bullshit, which I don't like. Right. So let me just scan down the list real quick, right? So yes, Saul gets there. Yeah, he calls his buddies. They all go back to the Coven. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this leads us into, again, from the Jedi perspective of the first break-in into the Coven's home. We see them cut the door. Like they jam the panel and break in.
Well, yeah, she literally said, yeah, she said she sliced
the controls. Right? So we've got breaking and entering number 1. So the Jedi are obviously scumbags in this world now. Right? It just doesn't make sense. They waste all their time after that reliving the scene where Tommen, first of his name, gets his mind invaded. They add a little context to that. You want to talk about that real quick?
Well, I want to talk about like, cool. the whole thing at the gate first, because it's first like she's I'm going alone.
Oh yeah,
and he's
like, do. This is kind of big actually.
Yeah, he's like, I want to go on alone, and then Soul's like, we should go in together to as a. He's like, no, they're going to take it hostile. We should go. Let me go in and talk to. And then he was like,
that, right?
It's pretty much, I want to go. We're not going. I want to go. Okay, let's go.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, shows that
that's
she
what I
has,
was saying, man.
like, no backbone. They're easily persuaded by the simplest argument.
But dude, it's worse than that, Kingsley. It's they're easily persuaded by people they outrank by magnitudes, and we've seen this from the beginning of the show, where Osha's telling Yord what's going down. He's a knight, she's nobody. We see it when Jackie tells Yord what's going down. She's a Padawan, he's a knight. Don't get it. You know, we see Yord try to step to Saul a couple of times. Actually, no, we didn't, because he basically deferred to Saul because he had screwed something else up elsewhere in his Jedi career. But like all of these people just this is the problem. I see this in every show that has a command structure. It's awful in Star Trek, where like junior officers and like cadets and shit don't know their fucking role. Like they don't know their lane. And I'm like, you know what makes these shows fun? Command structure. Like that organizational hierarchy of knowing who you can flex on and who you can't. But it doesn't matter anymore because the writers don't know what that's like. The writers have no idea what it's like to have been in the service or have worked under any kind of like organizational hierarchy like that. They just wing it. Oh, the cadet needed to be the brash cadet with all the great ideas. Like, no, you get one of those characters per show, and they usually get locked up. There's usually a consequence to bring them in line a little bit. Not here. In this show, Jedi Master Darth, I don't know why I keep calling her Darth. We haven't seen I guess we have seen she's kind of a bad guy. They want you to think she is. But Inara essentially she's the leader of the landing team here. And she's like, and she astutely prime directives this thing where she's like, hey, I'm going to go by myself. We don't want to roll in here guns blazing. You probably shouldn't have cut the door open. That'd have been my first thing. Like, let's talk.
Which was her command.
Exactly. And he's like, no, let's not do that. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
What do? They break and enter. They almost lose their Padawan, right?
Yeah.
And this is the part I want you to talk about. So Tormund, and this part I liked in the first episode, Flashback in 3, where the witches or Anastasia singled him out. I mean, I want to believe that was done on purpose.
Yeah, because he was the weakest guy in the group
because he was the youngest.
It makes sense. That's the guy I would target. He's not a knight. He doesn't auto shield.
It'd be like, you remember in The Waterboy where the kicker at the end after they figured out, he's like, "Where's my bitch? Where's my bitch?" There he is. and he kicks him. The guy looked terrified. That's what they did to Tormund first of his name, right? Slap.
But right. I mean, it's even the most dumbest reason how she got into his head and what's like, I want to go back to Coruscant.
Oh, dude. But see, I'm glad you said that, because that came up at the campfire scene. And the writers, do I know this? The writers are patting themselves on the back because what they've seen over all these criticisms of Star Wars and Marvel and all other shit is people want setup and payoff. We want narrative through lines. They're all right now. Well, we set that up. We showed you he was the one that was going to snap King Z. He wanted to go home. Never mind that he's like a 19-year-old Jedi Padawan or whatever the fuck he is. He got all homesick because he went away for 7 weeks to summer camp on Brendok with his Jedi Mastering team. Get that, folks? Like he's 9 and wanted to go home.
It reminds me, there was
from Brendok, not from Iraq, from Brendok.
Yeah, it was on one of my veteran things on Facebook, and it showed that a Air Force person was separated from the Air Force because he had separation anxiety from his girlfriend. And that's exactly what it reminded me of. Someone commented, like, this is the most Air Force thing I've ever seen.
Shout out to all of our Air Force viewers. We love you guys. Thank you for serving. But I mean, the jokes are there. You know, the stereotypes are there for a reason. Kingsley's got some, what's it called? Branch related rivalry. It's all good fun. Yeah. We ripped on the Marines during World War II month. We definitely took some shots at the Marines.
Oh yeah. You know, I almost had to get me a Marine cocktail today. You know what that is, right?
No, never heard the phrase.
It's a vodka straight with a crayon thrown inside.
Hold the crayon. I'll take you up on it. So, so we get the look inside. Come on, get focused, man. We get inside Tormund's head. We actually get to see what happened. I thought this was okay. Kind of give me a 5-second run through about what happened inside his head.
So inside his head, she's in there pretty much forcing herself on him, pretty much as an authority figure, forcing herself on this younger, vulnerable, younger guy to get him to do what she wants him to do, which is admit that he wants to go home.
Set the table. Who was doing it? We didn't mention who was actually doing the mind invasion.
Was it
Anastasia, the head mother, right?
Yep. She's
wanted
doing
to
it.
state that out loud. Yeah.
And all I want to say is that this is probably the most authentic Leslie Hedlund writing because, you write what you know. Harvey Weinstein assistant, just saying.
People been saying that, dude. It's very on brand for Disney to feature a weird inverted power dynamic. And dude, this show's had like 4 of them so far. It's got 2 in this episode. I mean, like even when we survive this scene in the Jedi, they do the back and forth with the witches about, we have the right to test them, but we need your permission. And then Mother Anastasia is like, okay, they can, but they have to choose, but they're 10, so they shouldn't. So there's all these weird, stupid, broken logic chains that happen.
Yeah.
But even when they work through all that nonsense, we get them back to the ship. They do the testing thing. I'm pretty sure that's nextish in line, right? Yeah. They get him back over there for testing and all that nonsense. And this is where the Saul character just goes weird, where it's like Darth Trinity busts his balls because she has and I think it was supposed to be a joke. Like she busts his balls for not having a Padawan and he doesn't. But then he has like 6 or 7 lines. Right. But then he has like 6 or 7 brief scenes where he's like, I feel a connection to OSHA. I should train her. Like, dude, you've known her for 20 seconds. You spied on her in the forest for 10 minutes. What connection, Disney?
Yeah, I had a vision that it's supposed to be my Padawan.
Dude, yeah, no, sorry, dude. No, it doesn't. Don't make no sense. It's just weird. It came across ultra weird in this episode for me.
I mean, the only thing that would make it more weird is their starship had free candy written on the outside of it.
Oh, dude, with the sliding door. Yeah. Dude, can we meme that? Can we get that in Photoshop? Can we figure that out? Can you teach me enough Photoshop to make that later? I want to make that. Dude, but you're 100% right, man. It's like it's pedos on patrol for some reason with Disney Star Wars. Oh, I know the reason. I mean, we're not allowed to probably say it on YouTube, even at our channel size. Speaking of our channel size, guys, we'd really like to get to 300 subs. Like and subscribe if you've liked our Acolyte coverage. We appreciate it. Let's chat. Kingsley loves answering comments in the section below, especially about crap you like. So if you like the show, just please. We've spent like 8 hours talking about why it doesn't work.
And if you
I'd love to hear what does.
And if you like this show, go ahead. You like whatever you like. But I swear, the people who defend this show on Facebook, they should be hired as writers because it's creative writing. The stuff that they're writing on how they're defending this show, they should be hired as the writers because they come up with a lot more creative stuff than the people who actually write this show.
Hard agree, but I tell them to go to law school first because you need to have a certain legal brain to twist facts and reality into support of this show. And I mean, dude, there's big time people, supporters, the shill sites, the colliders, the Grace Randolphs that are all falling off of this show now after this episode. Like I think the checks stopped coming in or something. And like the access has been revoked. I don't know what happened. But I think people are coming around. I think it's because the Nielsen numbers came out recently and conclusively demonstrated how big of a fall off not only this show has had within its own viewing segments week to week, but how far off it is from Ahsoka, which was itself far off from the things that came before that. So I just think they can't hide it. We had this thing yesterday or the day before where like the Rotten Tomatoes audience score disappeared for like 8 hours. Like the 14% wasn't visible. They're like, what's going on there, Kathleen? Anything? So, I mean, I think they just can't hide it anymore if they were inclined to, So what happens after after they do the head invasion? They take the kids back. They do the testing thing.
They do the test. They realize that they were told to fail the test on purpose. Yeah, because May went first,
that's and Stalin and Dara. Yeah.
Then you saw them do the blood sample thing again, but this time it was May in the blood sample taken instead of OSHA. Because in the first flashback, you saw them take the blood sample of OSHA. In this one, they showed you taking the blood sample of May.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that. Like I said, the little girls they cast in these roles as non-identical twins look very similar. So, and they have the same haircut and the same wardrobe. I'm like, I don't know. I can't. And the hair covers the spiral design thingy on May. So I'm like, I don't know. And the other one doesn't have the tattoo yet, obviously. So it's next to impossible. What happens after that? Run me through, because I kind of pick it back up when they go on raid number 2. That's when I really started paying attention.
They found out more about the ceremony they were going through. Because May was free to talk because plot devices, and then they're like, well, let's test the other one, but let me handle this one a little bit. Use a
different
better.
Approach.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
And that's where they were like telling she got it right no matter what.
Yeah. And then they caught her in the lie. Wait, I was lying all along. Like, just so not only does every character lie on this show, the whole episode ends on a giant lie, which makes the Jedi look even dumber and shadier.
Is on a roll in these shows of writing 0 characters that are likable.
100%. I can't do what was. But let's take a 3-minute break here from the episode. What was the name some likable Disney Star Wars characters? Let's get Andor stuff right out of the way. Luthen Rail, savage and ruthless, and
then
cunning.
Andy Serkis's character.
Oh yeah, okay, yep, good character there. Was anybody in Rogue One likable? Like, was Jyn Erso likable, or was she just kind of serviceable in the role?
I had no problem with her. Her dad, though, I mean, he was just kind of there,
which is too bad given the caliber of the actor there.
Yeah,
that could have been better.
I mean, he was a bad guy.
K2SO was good. Yeah, dude, but still, but bad guy doesn't make you not like it. Like, I like Krennic. I guess Krennic was an okay villain, like that Imperial dick bag guy. He was okay.
He plays a pretty good bad guy in most stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Sequel trilogy wise, I intermittently like and dislike Finn and Poe in different spots, but like overall, they're not super memorable in any way.
I mean, I liked Poe. I liked how Poe, like, his attitude, like he was like a more modern version of Han Solo's type character.
Yeah.
I did I think Finn is the most underrated type character because they could have done so much better with him.
Yep. I like Rey in Force Awakens. She was sweet, seemed charismatic, approachable, like girl next door that could handle herself. She was okay in the first movie. But I mean, the shows, like in the shows, like there's nothing.
Mando first season,
basically gunslinger. Because he's gunslinger. Like, that's it. He's an archetype on screen. That's all. But character wise, we didn't get enough of Cara Dune. We didn't get enough of Karga out of Apollo Creed and Gina Carano. We needed more of them. The Boba Fett show was terrible. Kenobi was terrible. There was nobody likable in Kenobi. Kenobi wasn't likable in Kenobi. Damn it. So, dude, I think you're right, dude. In this show, in the Acolyte, dude, how much better would this show be if the twins weren't in it at all, and it was just Saul investigating the murders that are going to end with himself? And dealing with Smilo Ren, who's the aggrieved one, and
who's
the survivor of the
who's the one who's like he's trying to draw the attention out as he's trying to slowly eliminate the Jedi as he seeks for like to turn a Jedi, kind of like a pre-Anakin type thing.
In 5 seconds, we had a better idea. Exactly.
It's been lore before where Jedis have gone to the dark side. I mean, Dooku. I mean, it's not something new concept. And that's what it could have been. I mean, you could have kept Anakin as special he was, because a lot of people think it was Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious got together to make Anakin, but that isn't it. They tried to use the Force to create the perfect dark side candidate, and the Force rejected them, and then created Anakin as the answer to bring balance.
Right, as a counterbalance, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's the actual story.
The ideas were there. That's what I'm saying, dude. The ideas were there with these characters, but they did nothing with them. So when they get around to, let's just get into the end of the episode stuff. Like the big reveal goes down, right? May sets the fire because the white-horned mother whips her into a fervor when the Jedi come back.
Right? Yeah, pretty much tells her to kill the Jedi and do what you can to protect. Angry. She gets out there, she smashes the door lock so the door doesn't work, and then goes up in there. And we remember from the first one where her and Osha have their confrontation, and she's like, if you leave, I will kill you. And then
those are her words. Those aren't your words, right?
Yeah. And then she starts the fire, which then starts the short circuit the stuff, which is the dumbest reason why the whole thing blew up, as a short circuit from a fire that she stomped on twice trying to put out, because she was trying to destroy Osha's drawing of the Jedi.
But if you think about it, even within the span of 5 seconds worth of a scene, motivations change. Like, she wanted to kill this chick, tried to burn her out, and then starts stomping the fire out and calling for backup, right?
Yeah,
but even before that stuff. Oh no, I just want to back up just for a minute, because the Jedi have their second campfire scene that sets off the invasion of the Witches Coven, because Tommen, first of his name, finally freaks out, and he's like, "Listen, we have evidence of the Force symbiote, the Virgins. Send it to Coruscant. that gets rejected because they actually do send the data. And then he's like, but we have the evidence right there. We're just going to we're going to go kidnap these kids. And that gets us to go home. Right. So then he hops on his 10 speed. He bolts and somehow 3 other Jedi can't stop him without sending somebody else on another 10 speed, and fake Chewbacca and Darth Trinity take the ship on like an air support run above the witch's base. So again, I'm saying the Jedi have gone to their base a second time. They were sent to stop Tommen first of his name, but they get there and Saul's like, all right, we got to climb up there and steal these 2 kids.
Yeah,
I know that wasn't what our orders were.
May
We're gonna do
smashed
that
the door lock.
Right. So they then climb the Great Wall from up by the Night's Watch in Game of Thrones with no climbing gear for a second time. They're not tired. They don't force jump. They don't teleport. They climb this thing. It's 900 feet, 0 degree incline or whatever, however you climbers call it. It's basically straight up.
30 seconds later.
The raid is on. Dude, 30 seconds later, right? The raid is on, right? They jump in because there's no roof. I mean, I guess the witches need to invest in some kind of Wakanda dome. That might be helpful, you know.
Well, maybe.
Then they get into it up front with Saul and Tommen. The witches all have weird LED arrows now for some reason, which I thought were kind of dopey looking. Whatever. And they square off with Anastasia and Coral, who are like,
well,
okay,
first
so
it's
you're not
first
taking
it's
our
just
daughters.
Coral.
Yes,
it was first just Coral, and then Coral's being super aggressive.
Super, like the grown-ups just don't talk in this show.
Yeah,
just fucking talk.
Like changing her spear thing from hand to hand, changing different stances.
Not cortosis, by the way.
And then Anastasia comes out, and then Soul's like, we come for an honorable reason. And then she's like, your honorable reasons are into a whole bunch of Jedi's killed.
It's gonna get every Jedi killed one day.
Yeah, and then he was like, he started talking about what they were fighting, and then she was like, and you're supposed to be raised by an organization, not a family. And then homegirl, Cora, go ahead and takes an aggressive stabbing stance, which caused Tomlin to just draw his lightsaber. Then May comes running up, and then Anastasia cast herself into a dark smoke monster, and May starts eating away. All Saul sees is that May is now disappearing, like being eaten away in this huge monster that he doesn't understand. Why another one's taking an aggressive stand against the Padawan. He pulls his lightsaber and defends himself, stabbing Anastasia, and then she tries to pull the guilt trip, like, I was gonna let her go. No, you weren't. Did you just see your actions? Actions speak louder than words.
Dude, the whole exchange is, again, it's an exercise in grown-ups not talking and contrivance, right? The viewers know that she's just doing like some Ninja Turtles thing. She's disappearing out of the way. That was my take. Like, if she's just moving her kid, right? But you're right. Like, it's, if anybody stopped and just did anything fucking normal at all, like if Anastasia's first move ever was stop, we've allowed the child to choose for herself, which is dumb. She's 10. That would never happen, right? All she has to do on first appearance is go, Coral, stand down. It's been decided. And then them two can fight if they want, you know, but no, it has to be this dumbass setup to make the Jedi, exactly like you said, force them into a corner of thinking that they're playing defensively. Now, explain to me, because we've seen lightsabers have weird power levels in this show.
Oh yeah, we saw Sabine take the same stab.
Now. Right. In a different show. In this show, I guess if you get stabbed 3 times, it's like it's witch's brew and it kills you. But if you stab the smoke monster from Lost in this show, that also kills you because she then recorporealizes around the lightsaber blade for some reason long enough to deliver the guilt trip.
Yeah.
Like, why would you reform yourself around the lightsaber blade? Why did the lightsaber blade kill Smoke? I don't get it. Shit just happens in this show so they can get to point Z. You know what I mean? Like, it's really that. It's like they wrote the last thing first and they're like, what dumb shit can we do today to get us into that dumb shit? Right? So Anastasia dies, arrows come, Tommen does some cool lightsaber food to deflect arrow bolts, which I guess is not as cool as deflecting blaster bolts, but it's a yellow
Yes.
saber. That was all right. It was okay, cool to see in live action. I don't care.
Did
We already
they
saw them
take
3
away
weeks
the
ago.
meaning of the color of the lightsaber? Like they don't have like the meaning that they
They
used
don't
to
have like
have?
classes. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because like
I don't know because
you
it used
had
to be
like
Sentinel, Guardian, Consulate, or
yeah,
Consular were the OG3. But I
yeah,
never thought Padawans were allowed to have yellow. I thought that was you had to have attained a certain
yeah.
standing to have that job.
Like I
I don't know
think
if that ever applied to live.
green was the only one that the Padawan was supposed to have because wasn't both Anakin and Obi-Wan were green, and then Obi-Wan turned to blue, and then when
Obi-Wan always had a
Anakin,
blue.
he was always a
Obi-Wan's was
blue.
blue even in the prequel trilogy. But he was a knight in the prequel trilogy, so I don't know.
No, he's a
He wasn't
Padawan
a
in
Padawan then.
Phantom Menace.
Oh, that's right. He hadn't taken the trials yet. Qui-Gon
Yeah,
was like, he was telling Qui-Gon, "I'm ready to take him."
yeah, because
Oh, you're right. I don't know.
Qui-Gon's Padawan.
I only remembered that those 3 were ever only really explained to me, and maybe they were in EU stuff. I don't know. In Knights of the Old Republic, the first game, like when the character select stuff comes up and like the tech trees happened,
Mm.
the one good female character in the game, Bastila, was a Jedi consular or whatever it was. So she had the double bladed yellow one, and the other 2 jobs were Sentinel and Guardian, and they
And
had different
Sentinel was
stats and this and
yellow.
that. But I don't know if that ever translated anywhere else. Right.
Yeah.
So they had red, yellow, blue. Red was the bad guys. They didn't have white back then. They didn't have black. Purple wasn't a thing yet. So yeah, I don't know if Tommen was supposed to have a yellow one or not as a Padawan. I don't think they know.
And see, the
Because we
white
saw
one
in that
even
fight in
makes
part
sense
3.
for Ahsoka because she's not a true Jedi,
Right.
even though she's Jedi trained, so she wouldn't have a job. So her color wouldn't represent her job.
Exactly. And I'm sure Filoni thought that all through when that character was created for Clone Wars, because he cared back then. But now, I mean, like when we had the flashback major duel in episode 3, like when the 8 Jedi are whipping sabers out to all get their asses handed to them by Smilo Ren, there's all 3 sabers in there.
Yeah.
Green, blue, and yellow. Multiple,
Yeah.
I think. There's like 2 of each, actually, I think, if we go back and check. So Tommen's doing the deflecting the arrow thing, and he's swinging it behind his back and doing all kinds of gangster shit. And that all looks good. And I was waiting for one to just take him. That way Saul had to have that slowdown moment. But it didn't happen. Nope, didn't happen. Coral reacts to Anastaea's death and the guilt trip on Saul by Smoke Monster spelling herself and May out of harm's way. And then
they
somehow
fight, and Soul wouldn't fight back. There was that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
He's like, attack,
Yeah.
and he just took it. He's like, it just hit me. Hit me.
Which is weird and okay. I mean, I guess why don't the good guys ever use a single force push ever in a fight? Why? And I'm going to say that again in 15 seconds because the big set piece comes, and instead of taking Tommen's name, because again, they're patting themselves on their back. We did setup and payoff here, guys. Tommen had a line where when they were encroaching the base, Saul reminded him to like fortify his mind because remember what happened last time we were here. The witches got inside you, So he's defended, but you know who's not defended? Discount Chewbacca, not defended.
Yeah.
So
You shouldn't have brought him. He's like, my mind's defended. And then,
right. Discount Chewie shows up with this stupid top knot, shaved head, stupid. And that's even dumber too. And you see it freeze frame like on a profile. He absolutely hands the both of them their asses, which makes sense.
As a Wookiee,
he should, which makes the combat stupid because any single blow he lands should have killed any of them on impact alone.
You don't beat a guy to rip off your arms and beat you to death with.
Right.
New rule. Let the Wookiee win.
Let the Wookiee win. Except no, he doesn't. And at various points in the combat, Saul's trying to like pull his wrist away, like with 2 hands. He's trying to pull Wookiee wrist away instead of force pushing him. Yeah, he gets Tommen by the throat or by the skull. Actually, I think he's got him by like the forehead.
So that's where he got his scar that we saw when he killed himself in episode 2.
So we'll talk about that.
Yep.
So somehow Kelnaka doesn't crush his head to end that conflict. And I guess the shills are going to tell you, oh, well, Kelnaka was on the inside and he was resisting the witches telling it. No, didn't happen on the show. Didn't happen. You don't get to write for the writers. You don't get to back their play. Right.
I think
Tommen has this. Go ahead. You got something. Throw it in.
I was saying this is the most show where people have to explain what actually happened so much. No, this is what they really meant. No, this is what they did. You don't get
I know you didn't like Ahsoka. Ahsoka wasn't good, but most of it made semi-narrative sense episode to episode.
Yeah, the only
right? I
thing that
mean, would
didn't
you
make sense
disagree
in
with that?
Ahsoka was the very
Space
end.
Whales. Space Whales was stupid. But either which way, right? So we're explaining we're like, we have to hypothesize what they're going for here because none of it makes any kind of sense,
No.
right? Tommen has this weird reverse underhand grip on his lightsaber, deflecting out Kelnaka's shot that's going to take him at the ribs and
Yeah.
cut him in half.
I mean,
And
you're
he's
already
somehow one-handed,
yeah.
right, at a weird angle with your skull being crushed. Okay, I mean, again, Jedi Knight, Padawan, Wookiee, ostensibly human. Like I'm not aware that he's not a human. Tommen,
Yeah.
first of his name. I
And
hear
they
he's from
kept
Westeros. I don't know.
and during this, they kept cutting to the witches, so, like, you know,
Right.
they're in
Okay,
that
yeah.
sway,
So-
like, all of them. The power of
Right.
many.
Now, hold on, I got a joke for that too, and I didn't see anybody else say it. That's not even a joke. It's just like a coy statement. But so all the witches, all of them,
All of them. The whole
are all
covenant.
they're all in the they're all in the media room in the stadium seating room. Hands swaying the power of. They're not singing the song. I think they might have cut that out. I wonder if they ADR'd over that after like backlash. Honestly, I think it was that bad. Right? I did. We need to dig for that story. That'd be a great story to break. But the 50 of them have Kelnaka in their pocket, basically, doing the mind control, the heebie-jeebie thing, right? So Master Trinity shows up, does some
from
terrible wire
nowhere.
foo. From nowhere. She parked the ship somewhere not in the base because there's no
Because they
room
said
to
they
park the
can't
ship in the
land
base.
there. They said they can't land it there.
Don't know
They
where she
set
parked.
that up.
Yep. And then delivered no payoff because if she shows up, you want me to believe she parked the ship far away, walked through the woods, climbed up the mountain or came through the front. I mean, they came through the front door. Oh, she must have climbed because the door wasn't open.
The door was locked. Remember, they broke
Door
the
was locked again.
mechanism.
I don't know why they wouldn't break it the second time. Dude, why didn't Saul and Tommen first of their name break the lock the second time?
Oh, because
that
they
just occurred to me
smashed it
just
from
now.
the inside, so they can't. It's non-functional now.
Dude,
Remember?
all I know is this: Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon stabbed laser sword lightsabers into the blast door on the the Trade Federation. They were going to cut their way through. So the elevator
was an elevator.
Cortosis doors. I don't want see that should have been the setup. Smilo Ren, this should have been his base. They should have been mining Cortosis. This material should have been in abundance here. Oh shit, the elevator doors are Cortosis. We can't cut in. We have to climb. It's something, anything, people. But no, we don't get that. We get this.
Don't get that. We get this.
No, we didn't get that. So Darth Trinity shows up. Wirefu, Hurricanrana, WCW moves, Kelnaka down. I don't know how he didn't stomp her either, but whatever. He goes down. We get a new force power. She does the hand on the face, Vulcan mind melt. I'm trying to line you up on the camera.
Yeah.
She basically gets all up inside his head and force severs the witch's connection to save her friend. Right?
Yeah.
That's my takeaway, right? But in doing so, they
all
died.
The witches.
Killed them all.
They died of boredom.
Died of boredom. I almost died of boredom, right? So they all die. Kelnaka's fine. I'm sitting there, and my first reaction is, I thought the power of many was a thing. So much for that bullshit, because, I mean,
the
she's
power
just
of one was so much
Jedi
stronger.
Master. Like, she's not, she's
not Yoda.
Guess that whole force thing was probably, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's not a once in a life. Dude, they could have written her that way. That might have been interesting. But they didn't. She's
the only thing we know about her is that she's easily distracted. A non-Jedi weapon can kill her.
Yep.
And she has no
terrible
backbone.
Taking orders. Yep. She's a bit cunning, bit conniving with her actions at the end that we'll get to in a minute. But so she kills all of them. The power of many things is as big of a farce on this show now as it was online a month ago, based on their own writing, right?
Yep.
So they've now confirmed for us in their own words, right, that the Jedi did kill all these people, but they didn't even have the stones to make it something evil. She was acting in defense of her friend.
Yes.
And had no idea that would happen because they never outlined how any of these dynamics could have worked. This could have been a scene on the ship between any of these Jedi and Green Jedi Master, where they said, hey, the texts say that, the witches use a force on a psychic level. Be careful. Watch for the mind trick. If you have to get inside each other, there's consequences to dicking her. It's like Dresden Files, mind magic shit. Like there's consequences for playing around inside somebody else's playground. And that could have been like this point of concern, that conflicts, tension. Do we risk going into Kalnaka's mind? Do we just kill Kalnaka? We can't kill 50 of them. They don't know. Like we're in their home. Like where was the back and forth with any of these different angles or philosophies or points of view? We never get any of that ever, dude, ever. And I found that wholly frustrating because I'm sitting here like shadow writing it in my head. Like, again, this is a decent idea. Like psychic shit versus like the force. Like what would that look like? And then she just wipes them out by herself without straining, dude. It wasn't even like she had to strain to do it.
Yeah,
so who is she?
right.
No, she's
We're
like,
done.
dude, she hands on heels.
Yeah.
Like she's Space Jesus. Is she Ray 1.0? Like, or, prototypical Ray? Is that what we're dealing with here? Because I could have accepted that had they written her that way. She's a once in a generation master that gets promoted to the council on the back of this lie that she's about to tell. But no, we're not going to get any of that because we get this stupid shit. We get all the stuff with Saul coming up next. And I don't remember the sequence there, so you're gonna have to walk me through this. They save Kalnaka. The thing rumbles because it's starting to fall apart. And I think that's when Saul runs in and then he has to do the catch of fate kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then
he does,
they set him up weirdly here too, right?
Yeah, he grabs both bridges instead of moving one.
I think
instead
I
of
missed
grabbing
that in episode
both
3.
girls and move one to the bridge and then pull another bridge over. Yeah, because you don't see him. You just see him run up and make the catch. When they shot it in episode 3, it was just on the girls. But in this one, it's from his backside looking at the girls.
See, I thought in 3 we had that when we were talking, we were like, dude, why didn't he force catch both of them? I thought from our perspective in episode 3, I thought there was enough visual evidence there that we had that in consideration. But we find out here that didn't matter anyway, because all this dude's talked about all episode long is I want OSHA. I want OSHA.
And he chose OSHA over May.
Exactly. Now I have no fucking idea how he knew which one was which. No clue. No idea.
Basically, he heard them yell at each other. What did you do, man?
What did you do, man? And they back and forth that shit. Thankfully, they spared us the whole.
She said the name though.
Conversation.
Why would the person say, "What did you? Yeah, what did you do, man?"
Yes, you're right. You're right. And they I don't know, they're patting themselves on the back again because they're like, "Oh, that's how we made them know." It's still stupid. So we've turned Saul into a murderous pedo now.
Yeah,
because he chose to let a little girl fall and die. Because you wanted this one girl you met for 20 seconds. Is this some Twilight shit? Is this like Jacob imprinted on Bella's baby nonsense? I know I shouldn't have said that out loud because this is now on the internet. It's forever. Yes, I do know that about Twilight, but whatever.
That's my wife compared this show to This Is Star Wars Twilight.
Dude, but Twilight's better. I mean, like Twilight at least gets the tropes right and gets the conventions of their universe right, except for the ones they change that they're consistent with.
The adult version of OSHA and May, she has about as much reign as Catherine Stewart in Twilight.
Oh, I did 100%. 100%. Kristen Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. Yeah.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. Looking off in the middle distance so often.
Yeah. Dude, I think I told you, I got to go find it. There's a meme out there that has that actress's face in this show in like 8 different dramatic types of scenes, like laugh, cry, sad, angry, and so on. And it's literally her face, not the same literal, like in the same scene, her face. Like they've just removed her face from different things and stuck them on all of these different things. Cause it's like, she just doesn't have any range. She's just there, So
it's like the Vader t-shirt, happy, sad. It's just Vader's helmet.
Same shit. It's my mask. Right. And that's the same thing. So Saul's a weirdo. He saves OSHA. May falls off screen. I don't know if we're going to find out how she survived that shit. Because why would Smilo Ren have been in this mining base at any point? I mean, is this the big reveal? He was the one guy or something. He's another Force virgin's birth or some bullshit, and they let him go because he was a dude. Dude, again, that would be interesting. That these idiot lesbian space witches tried to make Force babies, but they tried for all women and got a boy. And they've
already set him up as a former Jedi Knight who was abandoned.
They did, because they did say he had a former. Dude, but all right, so maybe he meant master like these. Dude, I don't know. I'm just saying. I think we cast you aside like Spartan style because you were male and weak, like their version. Like if I was this dude, I'd want revenge. I might not have killed Jedi over that. I might have tried to make my way home through Osha or May to kill the witches. I don't know, but no, we're not going to get that next episode for sure. He has no connection to them. It's all about putting these two in their flipped roles in the different places and then putting them in the same place, the four of them in the finale. That's what we're going to get. We'll do predictions in a minute because the last scene for this god awful show. Oh, what do you got? What do you got?
Oh no, go ahead. I was did my notes together. I got some stuff.
The one last scene. Yeah. The last scene is they're all on the ship. Osha's in the med mask thing. Like she's unconscious. The Jedi are trying to sort out their bullshit. Like, hey, like 50 people just died. Saul's like, I'm going to turn myself in. Tommen's in a corner. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Kelnaka's got nothing to say for himself. And then now Darth Trinity, in my opinion, is all like, yeah, you're actually not going to turn yourself in, Saul, because you're all Osha has left because you wanted her. And some reason the Jedi Council are now okay with taking this chick in, even though they turned them down. They're like, is that's what set the whole thing off. Earlier, is there when Tommen found out, the council told Indara, no, you can't don't take the girls, they're too old. So people are saying this is the beginning of the too old rule. We're gonna bring because all this shit happened. That's why we had the rule, and they tried to apply it to They're trying to insert all this bullshit as having happened before the prequel trilogy. Like literally, like the things that can undo actual canon. That's what this show is becoming. It's pathetic.
And this is the part is that this whole show is destroying the Phantom Menace. Because first off, they said that they sent off after they had the blood that they had the virgins. They said they sent it off to the High Council. Yoda's still on the High Council as he is in the Phantom Menace. So when they said that when they said that he was a virgin's birth, when Anakin was, why did everyone act like, oh no? But no, you guys have been around. Yoda's been there. They have holocrons. They haven't been lost yet because it hasn't been the fall of the Jedi Order. And also, what happened to the Jedi Order in 87 years that turned them to the righteous knights they were with Qui-Gon, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu? What changed in 87 years? There's grandfathers older than 87 years. I mean, it's the span of not even a full lifetime.
It makes less sense. Especially in a universe where things live longer than 100 years, like humans.
Yes.
Like, dude, yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's laughable. It's nothing.
Yeah,
and the bullshit.
Yoda died at what 897? I think was
900. He's 900 years. You are, dude. 900, bro. He hit the big 9. But dude, and the laughable part is this show is supposed to be taking place again through an era that wasn't defined in print until recently with the High Republic bullshit, right? 100 years pre Phantom Menace. But this is supposed to be their golden age, Jedi at their peak. Why are they all stupid? Why are they all incompetent at their jobs?
So I actually did the math based on the years. So it was supposed to happen 100 years before the rise of the Empire, which is the Revenge of the Sith. So if you go to the Phantom Menace, that was 13 years before that.
Yeah.
So this is
we see that through Anakin and Padme aging, right?
So the action with Smilo Ren and all them is 87 years before the Phantom Menace. So this is 103 years before the Phantom Menace is the actions on that planet.
It's honestly like present day. It would be like telling somebody it would be like expecting somebody today to have no concept of what World War II was, give or take a few years. You know what I mean? It's like Pearl Harbor, World War II, so something like that. You know what I mean? Or World War I's getting into 100 years of some shit, but World War II is right around there. The Great Depression, stuff like that. World War II, like, no, dude, stop it, stop. This is dumb. This is dumb shit, and it ends on some dumb shit with this episode where all of a sudden now the Jedi are all deceitful, self-serving, shady, weird creeper pedos where like the best, like the highest ranking person on your team is telling you to do not a good thing,
to do what the Jedi would never do.
Because the kid need to do the good thing. Right. And I don't like, what's Saul trying to, is he honestly, he went to Indara and told her, I let May fall because I picked Osha, and and Indara thinks that's the biggest fish to fry, and not that she just killed 50 people and we got to cover that up. Like she's worried about Saul turning himself in. I'm like, no, go turn yourself in. Fuck you.
Or a Jedi Knight so weak in the head that he could be easily taken over and attack other Jedi.
Two of them. It didn't happen to Tommen, right? But
we break into people's houses
twice, steal their kids. Get them to burn some shit down. It's just weird, dude. This is why I said it to be. early on, like I hate this thing the most. The deconstruction of heroic figures in fiction. It's a trend that needs to go away, like how zombies had to go away for a while, except for Walking Dead, which literally they're profitable, so they keep making more. Like, dude, I'm over that bullshit. I'm done. Dude, the Jedi need to be the good guys. The Sith need to be the bad guys. Any cross-examination of those viewpoints needs to be done by people that can actually have some nuance while still locking them into the roles of being scumbags and good guys. Like, at the end of the day, they need to fall into those boxes or none of this works. None of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, and rant on that.
So my last thing is, what in all of this event was so bad that it made Tomlin kill himself?
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Like, is they honestly want me to believe that the youngest guy on the team that did the least damage, right? That it's his fault because he ran off back towards their base to get them, and these jackasses that all have more power than him didn't stop him and then joined in the idiocy? That's why? If it had been him that tried to save Kelnaka and accidentally killed the witches, okay, I mean, you killed 50 people. I could see some
Or
shit
he
there.
ran in there and started chopping up the witches to save Tanaka.
I mean, whatever. If he went psycho, sure.
Yeah.
Dude, pick, choose. You know what I mean? But what we got was the kid in the group, the least experienced in the group, that didn't do any of the real combat or damage. That actually, and you could, I'd make the argument, well, dude, my Wookiee buddy just tried to crack my skull. I don't know what the fuck was going on at that point. Like, I'm not guilty anymore. Like, I got PTSD. Like, no. But like, that's the thing. The three senior members on this group are the three dumbest, most ineffective Jedi I've ever seen. Dude, this show is garbage. It went from bad to laughable again to dumb, and now I've settled on garbage. And some of it's, the more I think about it, is legitimately making me angry because now that we know how it impacts, makes it bad.
And this is right on top of it, of like
dude,
the
right
worst stuff out there. I mean, they went so bad they had to steal from Adam Sandler in this. Well, Mama said.
Dude,
I'm like, is Bobby Boucher here?
Dude, that's our second Waterboy reference of the show. I love it because I did the whole kicker thing from that one. Dude, I like it. All right, here we go. Dude, maybe that's the comp we do from now on. No more Marvel into Star Wars and vice versa. We're just gonna pick Adam Sandler references. We can do that. I could do that. Dude, I wanted to do something different. We'll do predictions, but then I want to stay on for a couple of minutes. I actually have a couple of questions, like just generalized questions about the show that I wanted to run by you and the Armorers who couldn't make us here. But if you guys haven't done so yet and you like listening to us in the background, drop us a like, comment below on the Acolyte. Answer these questions too if you want in the comments. I'd be interested to get everybody's feel on these things. Let's do predictions and then questions though. Where do you think this goes next week? And then question 1A, how much time do you think they're actually going to give the finale episode versus this was just 44 minutes? I just double checked.
So where I think it's going to go is you're going to get more of the Stockholm Syndrome on the island of Unknown Planet.
Sexy beach.
Yeah. Them on their vacation honeymoon.
It's so weird. It's so
weird.
Dude, you watched him kill 8 of your friends. Why are you trying to bone this dude? I don't care what you think of his politics. It's just so
May's going to give up where he's actually located because she's going to realize once again that she loves her sister because technically they're the same person, which we find out they're literally the same person, same DNA.
But they're different ages and not twin. I don't know. I don't care. Keep going. I just don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
So there's going to be the showdown between Sho and what's his name, whatever his real name is. That with the stranger, I think there's the actual what they're calling him.
Dude, his name is Smilo Ren. I don't know what he's calling him the stranger.
Or as I predicted last, that he is Ren for the Knights of Ren.
That could be. I mean, again, that could be an interesting thing. But again, they've taken half steps and measures to a bunch of decent ideas superficially. And don't have the stones to follow through with any of that.
And they're going to show up, and this is going to be like the big Jedi cover up where they're going to blame everything on Soul. Osha and May are somehow going to disappear, and
not die, disappear. Yep, I agree.
Disappear, and then Smilo Ren is going to go off and create his Knights of Ren as they find their own way to use the Force as the gray option. So there's no light, dark. There's gray.
I could take that, dude. Do you think so? I think I think a lot of those same things, prediction wise, same place, same time, 2v2 battle with the two teachers and the two students. I think the girls escape together, like you said. I think Green Chick shows up and she and Saul decide they're gonna pin it all on him, and then he dies. I think she'll have to kill him.
Yeah,
he's
going to be dying because he's going to take like lightsaber, like Sith's lightsaber.
You think so? You don't think she'll have to strike him down and do some gangster shit?
No, because I believe Smilo Ren is her Padawan. Was her Padawan.
Oh, that's right. We did mention that. But then how? So does he kill her, and that's how the threat escapes undetected for 100 years or some bullshit? Do you think he gets them both?
No, she just keeps her mouth shut. We got covered up.
Why would she let him go?
He's going to escape.
That's true. Oh, so she might try to apprehend him.
Yeah, he
that makes sense because Headland said she has story ideas for season 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm like, don't cross your fingers. But that would be a thread they would pick up, would be that pursuit. I think in secret, I could see where that would be that could be a thread.
The final episode would be 15 minutes.
The final episode is 6 minutes because that's all they have left. And I'll add this as an aside, dude. I don't know I know you don't watch House of the Dragon, but we've talked on this show about how budgets are similar and how House of the Dragon has more episodes that are all an hour long or whatever, and they have dragons. This past Sunday, right? When the Acolyte was giving the writers, directors, production value, I don't know. Where the Acolyte gave us the gerbil dancing disco thing and then kicking May in the leg and then humping her. Remember that? I should probably just get a clip of that. Yeah. So House of the Dragons gave us like full aerial dragon rider combat with like teeth, claws, fire, barrel rolls. Dude, heart-wrenching sounds when these animals got injured that like actually seized your chest because it reminds you of like your dog. You know what I mean? Like you felt for this creature that they fleshed out and designed over 4 weeks with personality, with like looks to its rider of like fear, anger, like fleshed out effing characters. And they did this for 15 minutes out of this episode. This entire battle sequence was flame everywhere. It was insane. You got the gerbil dancing disco style on this show. I'm not saying they stole money. I'm not saying they laundered money. I'm saying something. So, all right, dude, let's do some questions real quick because we're getting long, but I really want to get your take on these. And I wish the armorist was here for these. All right, question number 1. Never mind. We already did the Tommen one. That was question number 1. Was why does he feel the guiltiest? Right. Question number 2. Anywhere in Star Wars, did the Jedi ever talk about having that kind of prime directive thing like in Star Trek, where like if you touch down on an inhabitable world, you're not allowed to interfere? Because I would have thought that would have been their prerogative here too. They said we're here to investigate the Virgins. Then we found people. Then we broke in and spied on them. Then we saw kids. Now we want your kids. They don't have some rules. There's no constitution that says you can't trespass. And it's because they said in episode 1, they're outer rim or whatever. Like, this isn't a Republic world. So what's your jurisdiction here? Like, do they ever talk about that in Star Wars? EU anywhere that you know?
No, they're usually dispatched. Like you saw Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. They were dispatched to try to settle something. They were the keepers of peace. Think of them as like they're the guys who stepped in when normal means
aggressive negotiations.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and the only reason they ended up on Tatooine was because shit went wrong and they had to bail.
Yeah,
that's how they got
their ship was damaged when they got out.
That's what I mean. Right, that's what I'm saying. So they basically had to set down and get parts to repair, and that's how they met Anakin in the first place. Yeah. So they weren't even there to like investigate kids. They happened to find him. So yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think you guys are out here doing that kind of stuff on the outer rim. But okay, easy question. This is a big one, right? Actually, let me do the other easy one first, and I'll finish on the big one. Do you think this show is bad enough to get the Disney Plus Willow treatment? Do you think they memory hold this show? Are they going to put this shit in the vault, or can they not do that because it's part of the bigger Star Wars collection? What do you think of that? They can't
do it because it's part of the bigger Star Wars collection, and this falls into exactly where Kathleen Kennedy wants it to be.
Okay, fair enough. That's kind of where I figured you come down to that. I figured Armorist might say the same thing. Here's the big question, right? I'm going to cross that right off the list. We talk a lot on this show about brand damage to big IPs, Star Wars, Trek, Doctor Who, all that stuff, right? Is this show worse for Star Wars than the Last Jedi movie was? Is it that bad, quality wise, writing wise, however you want to contextualize that question? Is this worse?
Let me put it this way: what time is it?
Game time. Huh.
No. What time is it? Literally, what time is it?
I have no idea. Man. We're in different time zones. Some shit. 10:47.
10:47. Time of death. 10:47. Star Wars, as we know it, is now officially dead. May it rest in peace.
So you're saying this shit show on Disney Plus that pulled in the lowest viewing numbers is the nail in the coffin to this franchise to a bigger degree that TLJ was as a movie?
Yes.
Interesting. I would have thought you'd have said the movie had bigger reach.
The movie had more eyes because of what it was, but this is just showing the continuing pattern over and over again. So this is the time of death. This is the end of Star Wars as we know it.
Interesting, dude, because I would have said that there are so few eyes on this, and I think normies checked out so long ago because of TLJ backlash that
it has 3 billion streams as of yesterday. This series does.
Yeah, but it's got like no watch time though. Like people hover over it, watch 10 seconds and bail. Like dude, how many people out there, normies, that don't watch like coverage on YouTube, do you think could name a character on this show?
It has 500,000 more views than all of Andor.
See, but I challenge that, right? And I don't challenge it on the veracity or the accuracy of the numbers. Andor itself was a show that came out in that peak TLJ backlash phase where people were absolutely rebelling against things that were Star Wars back then. And the numbers for Andor all trend up after those first 2 episodes. More people finished the Andor series than have finished Ahsoka, that have finished Kenobi, that have finished Book of Boba Fett, I think. So I think it finished strong. I think that the interesting thing will be to see when season 2 comes through how that show tracks. Do people come back? Are people so starved for effective storytelling that they've had to hear about now as people keep comparing how terrible the Acolyte is to Andor, even though not as many people saw it? I think Andor 2 rebounds in the second season to a degree.
Andor,
I can't wait to see that.
5 years removed from TLG.
Dude, I'm telling you that's peak TLJ, the backlash, because not removed from that is Rise of Skywalker. Because Rise of Skywalker would have come out the year before Andor. So I'm saying that whole downward spiral has been in progress for a long time leading into that show. That's why Solo tanked, didn't it? Isn't that in that time frame too?
Skywalker was 2 years after TLJ and 3 years before Andor.
That's what I'm saying. So you lost 50% of your people after TLJ, and then most people hated Rise of Skywalker as just being a mess, right? So I think interest in the franchise was all-time low, and then it recovered a little bit with Mandalorian. Then it hit a new peak with Mando season 2 finale, and we thought maybe stuff was turning, and then everything has been this oscillating, jiggling point of quality, bottoming out with this show. So I mean, this might mark the end of their series. I mean, you have to remind me, is Skeleton Crew live action or is that animated? I can never remember.
It's live action still coming out. Has a Jude Law in it.
So that's right. So I mean, maybe that's the end of Star Wars TV. I don't know.
It's the end of Star Wars.
It's just done.
It's not Star
the Rey
Wars
movie.
anymore.
Do you think they just keep putting the Disney front on the franchise? Because I mean, they're going to still make some shit because there's money tied up in it.
Yeah, they're still going to make money. I mean, they paid $4 billion for it.
Yeah. Haven't made anything worth a damn outside of Rogue One. And I guess Force Awakens to a degray.
Force Awakens did have a good reception, and I mean, it was a love letter to. They want to see this. Everyone thought they might be doing Heir to Empire. They know what they were going to do, and it was watching it. It's just pretty much a New Hope retold.
I think, and it's just testimony to the fan goodwill, to the currency that they had as a studio, where people were hyped and ready to go back to that galaxy far, far away and see something new with elements of the familiar, and that's. Force Awakens gave you some of that,
and not including that Marvel was still on its high at that point, and Disney had it. So they're thinking, all right, it's Star Wars going to get that Marvel treatment.
I was hyped because of that. I remember feeling that. But, oh, dude, look what they just did with Avengers. Oh my God, this is gonna be great.
No.
Down the stretch.
Nope.
Cool. All right, dude. We've gone long. We asked questions. We broke down the longest episode they had, but we really only talked about half of it because half of it was a rehash. But you know, what are you gonna do, guys? If you liked any of the coverage, if we helped you wash the dishes or wash the car or put your kids to bed, thank you. Comment below if you want to answer those questions about, dude, was this worse than TLJ for the franchise? Predictions for the finale, all that good stuff. We're happy to entertain all these conversations. That's gonna do it for me, King Z. Say goodnight to folks if you want. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, dude.
Night, King Z.
There we go. Later, dude.